this is my swim basically. The pit is essentially a square, sort of apparently averages about 9 foot deep. I've picked this corner here, just over there. You probably can't quite see it. There's a tree that's fallen in and it's sunk to the bottom, and just the tips of the branches are poking up. And then running across here at 30 meters out, pretty much the full width of the swim, is a nice little gravelly bit. And then on the inside of that it gets a little bit more silty until about 5 meters out in the margin, and then there's some new weed growth there. So what I've started off doing is I fished a rod to my right in the margin, just popped under a little willow tree with a baiting pole. Very minimal amount of bait with it. And then I've been chucking a method feeder out onto the gravel bar, but I can see over there, kind of just past the sunken tree, shadows of fish. Now it's funny because they've dyed the water and it's bluish, so the fish are actually showing up like a grey colour, light grey. They look like, in normal circumstances you'd think they were koi, but they're just normal fish. So I've hastily rigged up a zig at about 7 foot deep, and I've lobbed it over on top of them because they're cruising around quite near the top. There seems to be quite a lot of fish in this corner. I've had some bubbling and a fish roll just in front of me here. So what I did is I catapulted a few pellets just off the edge of the marginal weedy bit, and then also I sort of sprayed boilies out across the bar. I haven't really seen anything going on out over the bar, but I have seen a fish crash out by the tip of that tree, and as I say, I've seen them cruising around under the surface over there. So now I've just got the zig and the method feeder, and I've chucked the method feeder over that direction as well. I'm just recasting there every 45 minutes, fairly randomly actually. I'm not picking a spot. I'm fishing it from over there. Let's move the camera a tad. There's a willow tree there on the far bank, and then I've just been fishing it in a sweep all the way across there really, every 45 minutes, casting it to a different spot, essentially hoping just to land on a fish. It's a method feeder, and if the fish is hungry it will go down and eat the food and get caught. I didn't bring a lot of bait with me really. I've bought 2 mugfuls of 14mm baits, so that's not a lot. It's not even, it's probably about 1/4 kilo. And then I've got the same of 24mm. I've got a couple of mugfuls of pellet and a tin of corn, so I can't go mental. The water's cold actually, and that's why the fish are up. And then I've got a kilo or so of method mix as well. So I'm gonna kind of keep fishing as I am, fairly easy with the bait, rather than chuck the kitchen sink at it and hope they get down on the bottom. It's a strange one, because I don't know the place. I've got no idea really what I'm doing. So I'm just using my intuition and doing what seems obvious. Yeah, I can definitely see these shadows ghosting in the top sort of 3 foot of water. It's either that, been smoking too much crack, one or the other. But what I'm really hoping to see is some feeding activities, some bubbles, some crashing. That would be a real positive sign. Well, I can probably tell I'm too dopey to have figured out how to work the remote control thing yet. So I'm just filming off the button. It was cold last night. I mean, there was ice inside the bivvy. Everything was frozen, the net was frozen. Unbelievable amount of shows. In this sort of 2 hours or so leading up to dark, I just saw fish after fish after fish, and it's probably I've seen more shows yesterday evening than I have in the previous 2 years. So they obviously like to put on display here, and I caught a fish. Unfortunately, I was too blooming out of the routine and asleep, I guess, to record it. But I did get stills photos, so I'll put that in there in a minute. It's a nice mirror, £20 or so. I didn't bother weighing it, but a nice fat chunky mirror carp, so that's nice. And yeah, woke up at 7, went back to sleep again. It's now about 9:15. I've just recast the method feeder rod. That was the rod I caught the fish on. Just had a cup of tea. So the game plan is, I think I'm going to have a move. We'll see. I've been watching the water here for 20 minutes or so while I've had a cup of tea, and not seen a lot. I do suspect the fish will be in here again today, milling around over there, in sort of zig territory. But yesterday, dead opposite me, there were fish definitely feeding in the silt. There was bubbles coming up. They were coming up, clearing their gills. Apparently it's a horrible, stinky, choddy yuck along that bank. So I'm going to have a walk round, see what's feasible. Right, that's decision made for me. I am going to pack up and go around there and just fish that reed bed. I did see some fish bubbling out far, but the main reason is I just want to move swims and learn a little bit about the lake. I'm going to pop over there anyway and chance my hand, so I'm going to pack up quick and I'll see you on the other side. I nearly forgot I was supposed to be making a video. Just goes to show how you get out of the habit of it all. I've just moved from over there round to here, and I had a bit of a lead around. There's loads of fresh Canadian and sort of silkweed on the bottom here. It's not very it's not major. When I was pulling up the lead, I was getting little bloodworm and all sorts of stuff, and that's got to be why those fish were over here last night feeding. I've just seen another little group of bubbles actually popping up. So what I've done, I've had a little bit of a lead around, and it's difficult to find any clear spot, but I've found what is clearish. It may just because I kept leaded there about 10 times and obviously dragged a bit of stuff out every time. And I've just dropped, it's 10 baiting pole sections. So I've dropped a chod rig on there and just some broken up boilies, and a tiny little handful of ground bait as well. Oh, and some corn. Obviously the water's fairly clear actually. They put blue dye in it, but it's fairly clear. So I just thought corn, obvious visual boom. If a fish swims over it, it's going to see it. Hopefully it'll go down and have a munch. And then the other rod, I've just kept the method feeder on there, and I'm just going to cast out every sort of half an hour, or every time I see any little plumes of bubbles coming up. They are coming up here. I've seen 2 little patches since I've been talking. It's funny. It's not like the fish are fizzing and really having a good old feed, but it's the best I've got to go on, really. Like every now and again you'll just get a little cluster of bubbles come up for in between a few seconds and a minute. It's like a fish is down there having a bit of a snuffle about in the weed or whatever. Fingers crossed, might catch another one. There's a chap, he's gone and fished